And we are resisting without realizing that the resistance we are creating is the thing that is making us experience pain. So I truly hope that the message I'm sharing inspires and motivates you to improve your life. Now let's get to the point. Alright y'all, welcome back to another episode of ToDaPointPodcast, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. Today's topic is about everything happening the way they're supposed to. And it's usually that when we look back, we can start connecting the dots and finding the reasons, or start to understand, I should say, why things happen the way they happened. I have different examples of personal experiences when it comes to friendships, relationships, and jobs, for example, that I was only able to understand why things happened the way they did after a period of time, or that I started to understand why things changed after a while. But the thing is, I was only able to understand that after a certain amount of time has passed. Oftentimes, because in the moment, it's sometimes inconvenient to see that some relationships fizzled out or some jobs you have outgrown. Sometimes it's painful because we try to resist what is happening. And we are resisting without realizing that the resistance we are creating is the thing that is making us experience pain. And like I say often, the only way out is through, right? So instead of start resisting, we need to stop resisting and accept what is, no matter how difficult it seems in that moment. And that's why I said at the beginning of the video, it's usually afterwards we can start connecting the dots, right? And luckily, so far so good. Everything that I've experienced, I am happy that they went exactly the way they were supposed to go. Even though in that moment, I wasn't really happy with that circumstance, right? I remember, for example, about 1.5 years ago, actually a little bit longer than that, maybe 2.5 years, I came into the office where I was working at that time, and I heard this clear voice telling me, your time here is up, right? At first I was confused because I was like, why did I hear that? Nothing happened really, but looking back I realized that my spirit knew before I was ready to accept what was going on, right? My spirit already knew that this job was not going to be it for me, that the things that were about to happen were going to be awful, and that is why my spirit already knew and was trying to warn me that it's time to find something else. But I did not listen though. And looking back, I should have listened. But again, in the same breath, whatever happened, whatever I experienced, like you guys knew, if you already watched some of my previous videos, even though I experienced the burnout because I ignored, one of the reasons was because I was ignoring that my higher voice, my higher self, I needed that experience to turn me into the person I am today. And I am grateful that it happened exactly the way it happened. It would have spared me headaches, yes, but at the same time, if I left earlier or sooner, I would not have gained those experiences I have today. So yeah, I do believe that all happens the way they're supposed to. And I've read stories about people saying that we have signed spiritual contracts before coming down here on the earth. And I don't know if that's true. I mean, none of us know, right? We are all just doing something here on this planet. But reading that story, I realized that it's in contrast with what a lot of people tend to believe, right? And that is that we are in control of our destiny, of our faith, of how our life is going to go. I want to believe that we are in control the majority of the time. By the way, it's funny that whenever I decide to focus on a certain topic, a video about that specific topic just pops up on my phone. I was writing bullet points for this video, and I just received a message from YouTube that a video about this topic was online. So yeah, I had to dive into that. The thing is, I don't believe in coincidence, because some things line up so perfectly that it feels like it's almost an insult to talk about the universe saying that it's a coincidence, right? Not everything is luck. Somewhere or another, we created that certain circumstance. That's at least what I believe. One of the beautiful things of life is that there are so many things to learn, to see, to discover, that the majority of us will die and will be long gone before we actually get a chance to experience all the things we want to experience. I mean, there has to be a higher power working in our benefit, working with us, pushing us in a certain direction. And you can call it whatever you want, the higher self, universe, God, whatever you choose. But I do believe it's pushing us in a certain direction. And what if that's actually the case? What if it allows us this freedom to choose between what it is presenting to us, or allowing us the freedom to choose the opposite of what is presented to us? In the last months, I realized more and more that whenever we choose to do something or not do something, And where we feel bad about it, it's our higher self telling us that whatever thing we chose is not in alignment with who we are supposed to be. So let's say, for example, you choose to party every weekend. When you start feeling bad about yourself for doing that, it's a sign that you are doing something that is out of alignment, right? It might be something else. It might be you've been procrastinating, working on a business idea you've been working around with for so long. When you choose to ignore that feeling and just distract yourself with TV or social media or whatever else, you start feeling bad about yourself because you know you can do better and you should do better. And that is your higher self trying to move you into a different direction. And oftentimes we choose to ignore that. I used to be guilty of that too. I've had these ideas for YouTube videos for a very long time. I think maybe 3 to 4 years. But I chose to ignore that idea, to ignore my higher self, to do anything and everything in order to distract myself and mute that voice until I was tired of doing so. Now I live in a very calm mental state. I have constant peace of mind because I know I'm doing what I love doing most. And the thing is that even though I didn't do it like 4 or 5 years ago, I started doing it now because I guess it was supposed to happen that way. I probably wasn't ready back then. Otherwise, I would have taken the action necessary in order to start doing what it is I wanted to do. So we need to come to terms with the fact that everything happens, at least that's what I believe, and you, of course, might choose to believe something else. That's another beautiful thing of life, is that we all have freedom of choice, at least to a bigger extent. I forgot what I wanted to say though. I totally forgot what I wanted to say, and I also feel like this video is totally unstructured, but it is what it is. I guess this also was supposed to go this way. I think I remember what I wanted to say, and that is that I guess I wasn't ready back then, and it was supposed to go that way. And if I was ready, I would have done whatever necessary in order to get that thing done back then. So, we have the freedom of choice. We have the freedom to go after what we want, or we also have the freedom to say, you know what, I'm too afraid to do that, and I think I have forever, which you don't, by the way, but I'm pretty sure you already knew that. So I'm just gonna postpone, and eventually when I feel like I'm ready, I will do it. That might be also the contract you have signed, if you want to look at it that way, right? It might be the choice you have made before coming down on this earth. Yeah, anyway, I hope I make sense in a way or another. If so, I would appreciate it if you like this video. Share, subscribe, and thank you for watching. And as usual, I will see you in the next one. Bye.